Well, we have a really exciting morning planned for you guys. Jason Batug from Phroogal is here. Just a little bit about Phroogal. Phroogal is a financial education startup breaking the social taboo about money online with a community of 65,000 millennials. Jason worked in the banking industry for 7.5 years, with 3.5 of those years as VP of Marketing and Business Development for a Silicon Valley-based credit union. In 2012, he left his job and went backpacking around the world, wish we could all do that, and came back and successfully crowdfunded over $78,000. He's written for Business Insider and U.S. News, and has been profiled by Forbes, Yahoo News, and USA Today. His first book, You Only Live Once, The Roadmap for Financial Wellness and a Purposeful Life, was released on June 7th and has made it to multiple bestseller lists and received a coveted New York Times review. We've invited Jason and Phroogal to host pit stop number 37 here in Rapid City. He's on an epic 15,000-mile road trip to ensure the Black Hills community was represented in this year's epic financial wellness journey. So everybody, welcome Jason.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Jay. Well, good morning, everyone. So definitely excited to be here in the Black Hills area of Rapid City in this epic 15,000-mile journey. We've actually reached 11,000 miles, so by the end of our journey, we'll actually double that amount. So by the time we make it to San Diego, so it is a definite loop around the country. As Jackson mentioned, my name is Jason Batug. I'm the founder of Phroogal and author of You Only Live Once, The Roadmap to Financial Wellness and a Purposeful Life. My team and I are zigzagging across the country to break the social taboo about money and empower a generation, empower communities on the topic of financial wellness and how we can achieve our dream lifestyle in this lifetime through accessing the right resources and tools, having the right conversation, and being proactive in our approach in increasing our knowledge of personal finance. I do want to thank, let's see here if I can get this to switch over. I do want to thank Black Hills for making this possible. This is pit stop number 37 on this epic 15,000-mile, 50 pit stop journey. I've spoken with Jackson and his team for the past year. Last year, we completed a 10,218-mile road trip. We held 37 events in 30 days, attended by over 8,000 people. And when Jackson heard of this on social media, he says, we need you here in Rapid City. You need to hear the stories and the conversations that's happening around the money and how Black Hills Federal Credit Union is empowering communities, empowering individuals to achieving their dreams. And so that's why. So I definitely want to applaud Jackson and his team for making this possible, Heidi for making this an enjoyable trip thus far. Make sure you follow the hashtag TheRoad2016. So the conversation that we're having here does expand. So if you look at the Road 2016, you'll see the conversations that's happening all across the country. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Snapchat, as well as Instagram. You'll see the videos, you'll see photos, as well as the stories of individuals all across the country talking about financial wellness, talking about their hopes and dreams, and sharing some of the resources and tools that are enabling them to make better financial decisions to live and achieve their dream lifestyle. This is the road trip map. So as I mentioned, 15,000 miles, 50 pit stops. We've already held about 39 events. This is pit stop 37. As you can see, it's not a direct shot. It is a big zigzag. We started on June 7th in my hometown of Elizabeth, New Jersey, and we will end on September 21st in San Diego, California. So I want to applaud you. This morning, you've just entered financial education history. This is the second attempt to visit all 50 states to hold events all across the country on this important topic of financial education, financial wellness. So again, I applaud you for taking time this morning to be part of this journey. What does financial wellness mean to you? We asked you this question when you entered, and I've noticed some of the signs there: peace of mind, the ability to travel, the ability to enjoy my life without the thoughts of finance or financial issues. What does financial wellness mean to you?
To be able to have a budget and to be able to
Absolutely. Peace of mind to enjoy the everyday. So we all define financial wellness differently, but there's a core commonality in order for us to achieve well-being, and that really is the sound financial management of money. And most of us don't make the best financial decisions because of the situations that we're in, or the lack of knowledge, or the lack of access to the resources and the tools that empower us to make better financial decisions in order for us to achieve a life where we're not thinking about our finances, we're enjoying the day-to-day, we're enjoying the present moment. Financial wellness does have a definition. Financial wellness is about your health. It's about your wealth. It's about the quality of the life that you're living. I could stand here and talk to you about finances, how to budget. In fact, I have a seminar that taught 30, 60 minutes on how to budget your money, how to improve your credit score and get out of debt. The big key thing is everything that I will talk to you about in the 30 to 60 minutes, you would have forgotten 2 weeks from now because we haven't integrated, we haven't acknowledged the fact that how does the budget, getting out of debt, improving our credit score, improve the quality of the life that we're living. So financial wellness is about your health, it is about your wealth, it is about the quality of your life, and not just the size of your bank account, not just about your income or your finances. So it's important for us to understand that why we're on this mission, why we're on this road trip speaking about financial wellness, and not specifically just on financial education or financial literacy. We want to talk about how we can improve your life through financial knowledge. It's also about life goals and not just financial goals. When you speak with a financial advisor or financial experts, the first question they'll ask is, what are your goals? And what they're talking about are financial goals. I want to get out of debt, buy a house, buy a new car. Well, how do those things relate to your life goals, to the vision for the life that you want to live, to your dream lifestyle? It's important for us to have those conversations because our financial decisions impact our ability to live our dreams in this lifetime. So financial wellness isn't just about finances, it's about your life as well. So it's important for us to understand that. Why financial education? We learn the area of a triangle, but not the power or the value of the dollar. We're taught to calculate the circumference of a circle, but not how the banking system works, or how to invest in the stock market to create wealth. Why financial education? Because we're having conversations already about money with our friends, our family, our coworkers. And chances are we're not having the right conversations. We're having these conversations with the clothes we wear, the cars we drive, the homes we live in, and also the pictures and photos that we share on social media on that amazing vacation that we just took. We're having these conversations. It's important for us to understand how financial education will ensure that we're listening to the right individuals at the right moment. And how you're living your life today is a result of the financial decisions that you've made. Most of us tend to think, I'm in my situation, we are a victim of circumstances, but the reality is we are the product of our choices. And through financial education, we make better decisions on the products and services, the financial institutions that we use, and the conversations that we'll have. So it's important for us to accept financial education's role in empowering us to live our dream lifestyle. Knowledge is power. Financial knowledge is life-changing. Financial knowledge empowered me to get from where I was to where I am today here in Rapid City, meeting you, standing in front of you, having this conversation about money. I grew up in Elizabeth, New Jersey, the 4th largest city in New Jersey, a population of 300,000. I lived in 7 different houses before I graduated high school. I accumulated over $40,000 of student loan and credit card debt. So how did I get from where I was to where I am today? It was through financial knowledge. Financial knowledge made me aware of my choices, made me aware of the resources that were available, that got me out of debt, that made me choose the right services, that enabled me to create wealth. It's important for us to understand the role of financial knowledge. Here I am, I travel all across the country, and everyone assumes that I've always been great with money, but that's not the case. As I mentioned, I had $40,000 of student loan and credit card debt. I didn't learn about money or personal finance from my parents or high school or college. In fact, the first conversation I ever had about money was with my parents, who sat me down when I was 17 and said, "We can't afford to send you to school." I was devastated. I did all the right things in high school. I played sports. I acted. I was in the honor society, got good grades. My path was slated for college, and I wanted to go to school. So instead of going to college that first year where all my friends were going to school, I took a year off. I worked 60, 70 hours at Newark International Airport, cleaning toilets, serving drinks, in order for me to afford the first year's college tuition. And when I got to college, I remember I had my first paycheck. I was excited. This was the first time I've ever had my own money. Well, what do you think I did? I ran to the nearest bank around the corner. I opened up a checking account because I wanted a debit card. Because I thought to be an adult, I needed a debit card. Well, what do you think happened with that debit card and that checking account? I paid more in non-sufficient fund fees than I ever had in a savings account. And when I went to college, there was a guy standing with Frisbees that looked just like me, a college student. And I said to myself, I want a Frisbee. Can I have one? And he said, sure, sign in the dotted line. We'll give you a Frisbee. I signed in the dotted line. I got my Frisbee, and I got to enjoy it for the entire day. Well, guess what arrived in the mail 2 weeks later? A credit card with a $500 credit limit. And I could manage that $500 credit card because that $20 minimum monthly payment was easy for me to make the minimum monthly payment each month, every single time. Well, by the time I graduated college, that $500,000 credit limit turned to a $5,000 balance. And for the life of me, I can't recall what I spent with that $5,000. I remember that Frisbee, and that is my $5,000 Frisbee story. We all have financial stories. My story isn't unique. And part of the mission on this road trip is to get you to break the taboo. Because it's through these stories, whatever financial situation that we're experiencing, we're able to learn. I tend to say when we're hearing experiences, when we're sharing our experiences, we provide hope, hearing other people's experiences. And that's why it's important for us to continue to break the social taboo, to have the right conversations about money. And my story continues because as I progressed in my career, I thought the answer to my financial situation, to my debt situation, to my incessant need to pay banks fees was to make more money. So from being a teller, I worked in the banking industry for 7.5 years. I started as a teller. 4 years later, I was VP of Marketing and Business Development for a credit union out in Silicon Valley. I helped grow this credit union from $65 million to $110 million in 3.5 years. I was slated for big things. In fact, the board of directors asked me if I wanted to be the successor CEO in 2011. But I'm a millennial. And I said to myself, wait, wasn't quite sure if this is what I wanted. Everyone said, you're crazy. Take the job. Take the promotion. Take the money. But at that point, I wanted to figure out if this was the path I wanted to continue on. And so I did the most rational thing instead. I resigned. And that resignation landed me backpacking around the world. In 2012, I went through 20 countries in 12 months. I went through Southeast Asia, Central America, Western Europe. I was having conversations with people who were saying, you're American. You're so lucky. It's the land of opportunity. The streets are paved with gold. But they knew the realities back home. Whether you're making $30,000 a year or $100,000, chances are if you weren't making the right financial decisions, you weren't accessing the right products and services, you weren't having the right conversations about money, you weren't living your dream lifestyle. Here I am, sitting on an 8th century temple in a country I never heard of, Myanmar. in a city called Bagan. I'm staring at 5,000 temples, pagodas, stupas, and I said to myself, I'm living my dreams. Where's everyone else? Not that I wanted you sitting here next to me, because it was quite peaceful, but it was that moment I asked myself, how did I get from where I was to where I am today, where I'm able to say no to a higher paying position, where I can backpack around the world and achieve my dreams sooner rather than when I'm 70. It was through financial knowledge. It was through proactive approach and having those right conversations. And I learned through this process that our perspective, our mindset is what's key in empowering us to live our dreams. And when I learned when I was in Borobudur, Indonesia, the last country that I was visiting in this epic backpacking trip, it's 6 o'clock in the morning in this 12th century temple. You can see the morning dew. I walked around this temple complex 12 times and I said, I could be there forever. But that silence was interrupted when 2 other backpackers said, it's the same thing over and over and over again. When do we get out of here? And that's when I realized we can have the same experience, but how we perceive it, how we relate to it can be drastically different. So here you are listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth, seeing the slides that are being projected on this screen. But how you take it in, how you relate it to your situation can be drastically different from the person sitting next to you. But the key thing about awareness is understanding it is your perspective. It is your mindset. And when it comes to your personal finance, your financial situation, you have control by changing your perspective and understanding that the control starts with you. So I want you all to envision the life you want to live. Ask yourself this one question. What brings happiness into my life? Take a moment. Now, some of you are thinking about this question and going, Jason, I understand about this vision, about having dreams, but I can't think about the vision for my life or my dream lifestyle because my reality is that I'm struggling day to day with my personal finances. My kids are about to go to school. I can't pay my rent or my mortgage or my car payment, or debt collectors or student loan borrowers are thinking about their situation. Yes, when we're thinking about a financial situation, it is very difficult to envision that life you want to live. But what I've learned, the key to financial well-being is having this overall vision. Understanding the why you're exchanging your 40 hours per week for a paycheck. Having this vision gives you clarity of your values. And this way you can allocate your time, your money on the things that matter most to you. So ask yourself the second question. If I had no debt or financial obligations, how would I spend my time? Time, your time, is the most valuable asset that you own. How are you investing it? I'm excited because all of you are here this morning. It's really early to talk about that topic about money. But you're investing your time and increasing your knowledge and your awareness. And that is an important step in achieving your life and your financial goals. The secret to financial wellness is having that vision for your life. I realized when I accumulated $40,000 of student loan and credit card debt, when I was living paycheck to paycheck on a six-figure salary, that what propelled me to continue forward was I've always had this vision. So no matter what financial situation I was in, I knew I was working toward a destination. If you don't know where you're going, chances are you'll never get there. So when we focus so much on the mechanics and on the how-to, we'll never get to where we actually want to go. So it's important for us to have that big picture conversation. And the process of gaining clarity of your values. Why are you working the way you're working? Why are you spending your time and your money on those things? Gaining clarity of your values to help you allocate your resources, time and money, on the things that matter most to you. When I told individuals, my friends, my family, that I was offered the successor CEO route, but I turned it down, they said, "You're crazy. What you need to do is buy a house, get a mortgage." And I said, well, maybe that's what I need to do. So I started researching. I've been saving money for a down payment on a home too. Maybe it was time. But then I realized at that point in my life, in my mid-20s, that that's not what I wanted. I wanted to travel, experience the world, gain new experiences, eat new food. So my values was aligned to more travel and experiences than home ownership. So that made me make the decision, and that's why I am here today. And also, third, it is about financial planning. Financial planning starts with the B word. What's the B word? Budget. Some of you cringed with that word. What do budgets elicit? Deprivation? Limiting? Responsibility? Success? Great one. Financial planning does start with the basics of budgeting. And budgeting doesn't seem interesting, exciting. It does seem limiting. I thought the same exact way. Who would want to limit the way they live? But then I had a switch of mindset. I realized a budget was a framework. When I gained clarity of my values and I had that clear vision for the life I wanted to live, a budget was the plan that was going to get me from where I was to where I wanted to be. And it started with understanding my income, how much money was coming in, and then understanding how much of my income was being spent on expenses and on bills and on debt. And that enabled me to make the tough choices to cut out things that didn't add value to my life and reshift my funds and my time on the things that matter. So yes, budgeting works only if you've aligned it to the things that matter most to you, and that's when budgeting becomes exciting. Money is scary. The devil, important. Money is necessary. A tool, I heard. How you answer or fill in the blank says a lot about your beliefs around money, whether they stem on scarcity or abundance. Money is to me, or was, a means to an end. It was the end goal. When I was making minimum wage, I said all I needed was to make $1 more and I'll be able to save. When I made that $1, what do you think I said? I need to make 50 cents more than I can save. And eventually, I aimed really high. I said, I want to make a six-figure salary. And when I got to the point where I was making six figures, that wasn't enough. I wanted to make $50,000 more. But that didn't lead me to being more satisfied or more happy. What I found myself was living in Palo Alto, California, with 2 cars, a motorcycle, a pedal bike, a closet filled with clothes with their tags still on them, gadgets that I never used. So I was just in this constant mode of consumption. I was mindlessly consuming and obsessively complaining about my situation. I kept thinking, the answer is more money. But then I realized, after talking with some of the wealthiest people in the world who were satisfied and happy, they told me, money's a tool. Money isn't the end goal. Jason, you had it all wrong. Money's a tool, and when used effectively, will empower you to make better decisions. Think of it as a hammer. A hammer can help you build that wall, but it could also create a hole. So it's important for us to understand that and to change that mindset, begin that shift on our beliefs about money. What's your relationship with money? Money is personal. We keep focusing a lot on the finances, on the numbers. The numbers are important because they're facts. But what are our spending decisions based out of? Emotions. How we're feeling at the moment. And when we don't address how money is personal. We're not aware of our emotions and our feelings around money, and that's what causes our spending. That ensures that we're constantly seeking instant gratification as opposed to postponed and later gratification. Money can buy happiness, and money is not the root of all evil. How many of you here grew up believing money can't buy happiness, or money is the root of all evil? I did, and I'll admit it. Well, what do you think happens when we have these money beliefs that money can't buy happiness, or money is the root of all evil? We don't want to create more of it. I can tell you, when I got my paycheck, I thought money was evil. I didn't want to hold on to it, so I spent it as soon as I got it. But those money beliefs need to be challenged. It's important for us to address that money can buy happiness because it can afford the homes, the roofs over our heads, the clothes we wear, the car to take us to and from the places we want to go visit. Materialism does not buy happiness. There's a big distinction. It's important for us to understand that. And money, again, is a tool. It's neither good nor evil. How many of you here prefer experiences over things? I'm with you. I love experiences. But what do those two things have in common, experiences and things? They cost money. Don't fool ourselves to think that experiences do not cost money, because they do. And when you make that mindset shift, you begin to understand, I value experiences over things, but why am I spending my hard-earned cash on things when I want more experiences? It's important for us to understand that and know the differences. Why start with your mindset? I talked a lot about budgeting. I could stand here, again, 60 minutes and talk to you how to budget. We can go line by line. We can identify your goals, and I can tell you what you need to cut out. But chances are, you're not going to remember anything I said, as I mentioned before. And you're not going to be motivated and wanting to pursue that budget and follow through with it. Because we're not addressing how we think and feel. It's very key and very exciting for me to hear more financial gurus, experts, credit unions addressing our money mindset in order for us to change our financial behaviors. At the end of the day, if we don't address our financial behaviors, no amount of income, classes, or seminars are going to change your relationship with money and get you to achieve your life and your financial goals. It also is about personal responsibility. It's important for us to understand that we have personal responsibility when it comes to our finances. When you change your perspective, you understand you have control. So if you are overburdened with student loan debt, there are options to consolidate. There are resources that enable you to pay down that debt sooner. If you have a ton of credit card debt, well, there are resources that allow you to consolidate. And I'm sure here, products and services offered by the credit union that enables you to do so. And that's when personal responsibility is part of our mindset, understanding that we can seize control of our financial situation. And also this constant desire, innate desire to challenge your money beliefs. We need to continue to challenge them in order to set our mind from that scarcity mode to the mode of abundance. Do you want to be that Starbucks-loving apartment renter or the Folgers Crystals homeowner? I remember the first time someone said this to me. I was sitting in the front row. In my hand was a Starbucks coffee, a Frappuccino, with my misspelled name, Jason. Not sure if you can spell that. But that's when I asked myself, is this why I'm an apartment renter? And I realized this question, do you want to be a Starbucks-loving apartment renter or a Folgers Crystals homeowner, wasn't telling me I couldn't enjoy my coffee, because I could tell you I love coffee, and I enjoy my Starbucks Frappuccino. This question was asking me, do I know where my hard-earned cash, that $5 a day, was going? Because chances are, if I didn't know where $5 was going, I didn't know how much I was spending on financing my car, the rent, my cell phone bill. So it's important for us to understand this isn't talking about cutting out things that you enjoy, but it's understanding where that $1 is going towards. Wealth is not measured by how much you spend, but how much you save. I believed it was about spending, and I was the richest person in the world when it came to it. Until I realized in the conversations I've had, Jason, it's about your assets. It's about your net worth. How much are you saving up? How are you creating wealth? And not how you're spending your hard-earned cash. It's an important mindset shift that needs to happen. Time, as I mentioned, is the most valuable asset that you own. Most of us exchange our time for what? A paycheck. 40 hours of our life per week is at work to exchange it for a paycheck. But time is your most valuable asset. Should be used and invested on the things that matter. I want you all to take out your cell phones, your smartphones, your iPhone. The average smartphone in your hand across the country costs $600. If you make $10 an hour, that smartphone in your hand represents 60 hours of your life. Are you okay with that? I'm not here to tell you where you should spend your money. My goal is to increase your awareness and how you're spending your time on the things that matter. Because that smartphone can be useful in ensuring that we're connected to our loved ones. We're connected to ways to communicate to things that are important to us. But again, it's increasing our awareness, ensuring that our time and money is being used effectively. You only live once. YOLO. YOLO, I recall growing up, was used for taking shots at the bar, mindless spending sprees. As a generation, as we've approached our late 20s, our mid-30s, and across all generations, we're redefining YOLO as you only live once. And that means understanding that our time is our most valuable asset, and we want to create more memories, and not just dollars. It's understanding that debt is the ball and chain that prevents us from achieving our life and our financial goals. YOLO is using knowledge, resources, and time to achieve your dream lifestyle in this lifetime. If you only live once, why not spend your time doing the things you love all the time and not just some of the time? Remember, knowledge is power. Financial knowledge is life-changing. Again, I want to thank you all for being part of this journey and investing your time in yourself and in this mission to break the social taboo about money and empower communities, empower generations to achieve your dream lifestyle in this lifetime through financial knowledge. Again, thank you so much this morning. What I'd like to do is open it up to questions, comments, feedback. I could also just stand here and make everyone feel uncomfortable in silence.
I'm curious, with your major backpacking trip that you went on, what was the best country that you visited?
Each country was different. I know that's one of those top-out answers, but each country was different. And I think one of my favorite countries that I visited was Myanmar, just for the fact that it was closed country for 50 years. It seemed like it was traveling back in time. I remember there was a street corner where people were huddled in these 50s-looking radios, and they were listening to what probably sounded like a soap opera that was happening. I thought that was really cool, and seeing cars that I hadn't seen, because again, it was back in the 50s, so I thought that was stepping back in time. But having a conversation, I've never met people who got excited to know I was American. And they all learned English, and it was easy to travel there because they were teaching each other English because they thought to improve their situation, to improve their chances of achieving their dreams, they needed to know English. And they're the ones who told me that they thought the streets were still paved with gold. And I say, you're so lucky. You have all these opportunities to achieve your dreams. And here I was listening to this conversation and going to myself, I was like, oh, wow. But I made some really bad financial choices that prolonged my ability to kind of travel. So that's when I had my aha moment, having these conversations. So I definitely would say Myanmar was my favorite travel destination. Any other questions? Yes. I'm speaking in in different locations. So one of the really key things I think is very important for all of us here, we are all credit union people, that credit unions have a mission that's aligned with financial education, not because federal regulations require credit unions through Community Reinvestment Act, the CRA, but it's because it's a core mission and a core belief system. And so I've aligned myself with over 24 credit unions. I'm speaking with staff as well as the general public. So we've had conversations at bars, restaurants, bowling alleys. We had a conversation in a planetarium attended by over 110 people. And so when we're breaking the social taboo about money, we're going to places where people are meeting. And so it is open to the general public. We're having an event here at 11:30 that's open to staff and the general public as well. And we don't limit it to just credit union locations. We are out on the streets. We're out where places are socializing. As I mentioned, part of this is breaking that taboo. Questions?
You know, a lot of us deal with members front-facing. What advice would you give to our staff in terms of dealing with our members to break that social taboo and help them along their journey?
So one of the hardest things too, it is very difficult to talk about money, but we are having these conversations, as I mentioned, and I'm noticing that there is a trend on social media. If you go on your Facebook page, you'll notice that people are having conversations. I saw people asking about, I'm filing for bankruptcy. Does anyone have a lawyer? I'm looking to consolidate my student loans. What are my resources? What is the best credit card so I could travel hack? So we're having these conversations. We're breaking that taboo all over the place. And when we're having conversations with members, it's important for us to talk about their vision for their life. When you start just focusing on the financial goals, you'll notice that they'll say, I want to get out of debt. I want to buy the house. I want to buy the car. Well, that's great. And I'm sure you're going to be able to help them achieve that financial goal. But you want a deeper relationship. You want to be able to have this conversation with them. When you start with the why, there's a reason why we want to live in that larger home or buy that house, drive that luxury car, send our kids to school, get out of debt. There's a larger picture. There's a larger reason. But when you're having conversations with members, or you're having conversations with yourself and your family members, start asking about, what's your vision? Can you share your hopes and your dreams? What are your thoughts and feelings about your situation? That gives a good point. Just a little exercise for those of you, when you have time today or after work, take a piece of paper and write down your vision for your life. Take a moment to write it down. Take all your hopes, your dreams, your thoughts and feelings, what you hope to achieve, some of those financial goals, career, education. Write it all down. And eventually, you'll notice that you'll refine that vision. I started with 2 pages and eventually worked my way down to 3 sentences because I realized that life was simple. So do that exercise and post that piece of paper in your refrigerator door and read it, understand it, and question why you have this vision. And that'll help you refine your financial goals, your life goals, and help you align your time and money on the things that do matter. Any other questions before?
All right. Thank you so much, Jason. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, thank you for attending. Appreciate it.